I'm writing this under complete anonymity because what I'm about to share fills me with shame. I never thought I'd end up in this position. Lost, heartbroken, and forced to face the consequences of wounds I created myself. My name is Lily. I'm 24 years old. The man I may have lost for good is Jack, 26. We were married for 3 years, our love beginning in college when everything felt effortless. I truly believed we had something lasting. Imperfect, yes, but rooted in love and respect. Jack was my anchor. Steady, calm, endlessly patient. Now, looking back, I realize how I failed to appreciate the quiet power in his love, how I overlooked the strength hidden in his gentleness. We were nothing alike. Jack found peace in solitude, books, documentaries, and quiet evenings. I was the social one, always drawn to energy, laughter, and noise. Yet, he never tried to stifle who I was. He came with me to every wild party and crowded gathering, even when I could see it drained him. He did it all just to keep me smiling. Jack never complained. He'd bring me coffee in bed, rearrange his own schedule whenever I needed him, and carry the weight of our household, finances, chores, and responsibilities, all without resentment. I wasn't working. We didn't have kids. Still, he shouldered everything while making sure I never felt guilty. He never once threw it in my face. But instead of cherishing his devotion, I began to see him as weak. That mindset crept in slowly, fueled by the voices of old college friends I had reconnected with. They thrived on chaos, loved drama, and filled my head with lies, that I was wasting my youth with someone boring like Jack. They called him dull. Said I was too vibrant, too loud, too full of life for someone so mild. And the worst part? I listened. I let their poison seep into me until I started to believe it. One night, after a few drinks, I made a cruel joke. I called Jack obedient, saying he'd jump off a cliff if I asked. Everyone laughed. I laughed too. That rush of attention felt like validation. But it didn't stop there. Slowly, mocking him became routine. I laughed along when others called him whipped. I even wore it like a badge of honor. Jack never retaliated. Even when he overheard the comments, even when I dismissed him in public or made him the butt of jokes at dinners, he stayed silent. He kept loving me quietly. I confused his kindness for weakness, convincing myself he would never leave no matter how badly I treated him. But I was wrong. The breaking point came at a neighborhood barbecue. Jack, as always, manned the grill, smiling through the heat while making sure everyone was fed. I was off with my friends, drinking and laughing, when someone made another degrading joke about how trained he was. I joined in, calling him spineless. The laughter around me faded. The air grew heavy. That's when I saw him. Jack stood behind me, holding a plate. His face wasn't angry. It was blank, distant, cold in a way I had never seen before. "We need to talk," he said quietly. I followed him inside, still half smiling, thinking he was just embarrassed. But once the door closed, his words shattered me. "I'm done letting you tear me down," he said. "I gave you everything, and you turned it into a joke. I'm leaving. Your things will be on the porch." I froze. My mind clung to denial. He couldn't be serious. I begged him to stop, pleaded with him to talk it through. I cried, apologized, promised to change. But Jack didn't yell. He didn't argue. His calm told me everything. He had reached his limit. "No more," he said firmly. "You don't get to humiliate me and expect me to stay." I told him I wasn't leaving. He looked straight into my eyes, completely detached, and said if I stayed, he'd call the police. That's when I knew he meant every word. The man I thought would never leave me, the one who stood by me through everything, had finally had enough. I left that night with a suitcase in my hand, tears streaming down my face as I walked past the neighbors who once laughed at my jokes. No one said a word. Not even the friends I thought were on my side. It's been a few days now. I'm back at my parents' house. Jack hasn't replied to a single message. Maybe he never will. Maybe I don't deserve for him to. All I know is I had to let this out. I destroyed something rare. I broke a man who only ever wanted to love me. I traded loyalty and devotion for shallow attention that vanished the moment things collapsed. Now all I have is silence and regret. Maybe I am a terrible person. But at least I've stopped lying to myself. This was my doing, and I'll have to live with it.